after you get a window installed. But I take and get my, like I said, I have everything together, get my seal. You want to make sure that that you're in the curves really good, And then what I do whenever I go to, whenever I get it all the way around and I'm right to butting up here, I actually cut the gasket a little bit longer. And I kind of push it back, okay? So it gives me a real tight fit here. Like Dawn said, even if you want, you could put a dab of Pro Temp right there and put it together. It'll actually almost fuse that gasket together there. So then once I get the gasket in, I'm satisfied. I carefully, just flip your window over, careful so you don't move the gasket out of place, and tighten all of your screws back down, okay? So you got your glass in there, your new gasket, everything ready to go, cleaned up and looking really sharp. Then that brings us to your this side, your other half of your window, and got to put the screen in. And that's a little bit of a it's a little bit time consuming there, a little bit. You got to have a little patience with it. Sometimes I don't, but. And the only kind of screen you can really put in here is aluminum screen, because you got to be able to bend this screen over top. Nylon screen, you can't do that. I've seen where people try to put like a string around there to hold nylon in there, but this is this aluminum, and it'll bend and it'll stay bent. Where your other stuff, nylon won't do that. And when I put the screen on, you want to try and make sure that like your lines of your screen are pretty much, perpendicular with your window, so it's not like they're not like diagonal or something like that. And
unless you dare to be different.
And I just use a pair of scissors to cut the aluminum. It really doesn't take much to cut it. When you're working with a big roll, sometimes it's kind of a pain.
But not your wife's sewing scissors, right?
No. What's that?
Not your wife's sewing scissors.
No. These are
real quick.
Yeah,
repair for $1 at Ace Hardware.
You're allowed to do that once.
Yeah. Then she goes out and buys a $68 pair of sewing scissors.
No, I used her sewing shears to. I make little putz houses at Christmas time, the little cardboard ones, and I wanted to make a picket fence once, and I used her pinking shears to make the little things for the picket fence, and it wasn't a good thing to do. And you kind of got to watch your aluminum too if you throw it around, because that stuff will bend, and you'll get actually a bend in the screen. But I take it, and when I start my screen, I got these, really haven't used these things, but I thought this would be a good thing to use, and I kind of push it down in there, and it kind of holds my screen on like so. And then what I do is I have this is my custom screen squisher. What I do is all it is a piece of 1/8 inch wood. You can use a piece of like a nylon putty knife, but you got to watch it's not too sharp, because you can cut through that screen on there, so you got to be a little bit careful with it,
Can you use the roller like you do when you're installing your little feed?
I haven't.
Line roller thing?
I've actually cut nylon screen in half with this. I was a little bit too enthusiastic, and yeah, this is for installing screen bead.
Yeah, right.
For some of the other windows you might have in a trailer. It has a groove in it, so it's really simple to use. It just kind of pushes the screen right down in. Great little tool. $5 or something like that. Once I kind of get it in here, and I'll do the sides. This is kind of a, like I said, it's a little bit tedious, and do that. And you don't want to pull super hard on it because you'll pull it out because there's really nothing holding it in, you know. I'm not sure what kind of a design, if that was a very good design that they had back then, but that's the way they were made, and you know, you really can't get around it any other way that I know of. But like I said, they're not really difficult to do, but this just pushes it down in there. I just push the remainder of it down in there like this here, so you don't see any of it. And then once I do that, then I'll just take my scissors and trim real close here on the side. Try and trim as close as I can with the scissors. And then I just jam the rest of it underneath there. I just push it underneath there, and it kind of locks it in. Like I said, the aluminum screening will bend, and it you take your time and you go all around it, and you get a nice job around it, you know. So may have to do this. May have to cut this off here to get the rest of the window together.
Of course, by the time you do the 40th or 43rd window, you kind of know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Always start with the closet window first.
Good point.
Yeah, like I said, they're so time consuming, you know. But this is something you can do yourself. It's not a big deal.